What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com. Here are my DFS picks for NBA playoffs, Sunday, June 6th. These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for today's NBA slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Okay guys, we have a 2-game slate today, so let's take a look at the point guard position. I like Reggie Jackson from the LA Clippers playing the Dallas Mavericks. Reggie Jackson has averaged 19.8 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 23 minutes per game with a 20% usage rate. But take a look at his last 3 games. He scored 41, 26, and 24 fantasy points in his last 3 games, playing 37, 28, and 30 minutes. He's projected at 28 fantasy points here tonight, and that's 5.2 times value. He's $5,400 FanDuel salary, and he's the same price on DraftKings. Vegas thinks there's going to be 210 points scored in this game, and Reggie Jackson has scored 41, 26, 24, 24, 26 fantasy points in his last 5 games versus the Mavericks. So he's got good player versus team history. I think he can hit value here, no problem. So I like Reggie Jackson here versus the Dallas Mavericks. Okay, another point guard that I like, I'm going to give you a stud pick here. I like Luka Doncic from the Dallas Mavericks playing the LA Clippers. Luka Doncic has averaged 50.5 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 34 minutes per game with a 36% usage rate. He scored 64, 72, and 34 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 40, 42, and 35 minutes. He's projected at 56 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5 times value. He's $11,200 FanDuel salary, and he's $100 less on DraftKings. So I like Luka Doncic here versus the LA Clippers. Okay, let's take a look at the shooting guard position. I'm going to give you a value play here. This might be my favorite value play on the slate. Actually, it's definitely my favorite value play on the slate. I like Tyrese Maxey from the Philadelphia 76ers playing the Atlanta Hawks, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall. They're middle-of-the-pack defending opposing shooting guards. Tyrese Maxey has scored 26, 24, and 11 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 26, 21, and 11 minutes. So I like that he's played 21 minutes or more the past 2 games. I'm hoping for that same outcome here tonight. And if that's the case, he's projected at 24 fantasy points, and that's 5.6 times value. He's the highest value player on the slate with a FanDuel price of $4,300, and he's $4,000 less on DraftKings. So I like that price on both sites, but I love that DraftKings price. So I like Tyrese Maxey here versus the Atlanta Hawks. Okay, another value play for you. I like Seth Curry from the Philadelphia 76ers playing the Atlanta Hawks. Seth Curry, he's averaged 21 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 29 minutes per game with a 17% usage rate. He scored 31, 14, and 27 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 30, 28, and 27 minutes. He's projected at 25 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.1 times value. He's $4,900 FanDuel salary, and he's $200 more on DraftKings. Oh, Vegas thinks there's going to be 220.5 points scored in this game, so I like Seth Curry here versus the Atlanta Hawks. Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the Position Optimizer, where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new Player Trends tool, where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups. Okay, let's take a look at the small forward position. Here's a stud pick for you. Probably my favorite stud pick on the slate. I like Kawhi Leonard from the LA Clippers playing the Dallas Mavericks. Kawhi Leonard has averaged 44.3 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 34 minutes per game with a 29% usage rate. He scored 59, 38, and 55 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 41, 41, and 35 minutes. He's projected at 55 fantasy points here tonight, and even on FanDuel, that's 5.2 times value. He's 10,600 FanDuel salary, and he's 700 less on DraftKings. Now, he scored 59, 38, 55, 56, and 58 fantasy points in his last 5 games versus the Mavericks, consistently scoring 55 fantasy points or more. Outside that 38, he's been awesome in the playoffs, and I love that DraftKings price. So I like Kawhi Leonard here versus the Dallas Mavericks. Okay, another small forward that I like is Dorian Finney-Smith from the Dallas Mavericks playing the LA Clippers. Dorian Finney-Smith, he's averaged 22 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 32 minutes per game with a 12% usage rate. He scored 28, 34, and 16 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 41, 40, and 38 minutes. So he's playing monster minutes. He's projected at 26 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.1 times value. He's 5,100 FanDuel salary, and he's 100 less on DraftKings. So I like Dorian Finney-Smith here versus the LA Clippers. Okay, let's take a look at the power forward position. I don't love these power forwards on the slate, but I like Tobias Harris from the Philadelphia 76ers playing the Atlanta Hawks, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, and they give up the 13th most fantasy points to opposing power forwards. Tobias Harris has averaged 36.4 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 32 minutes per game with a 24% usage rate. But take a look at this. He scored 60, 45, and 41 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 36, 37, and 31 minutes. He's projected at 43 fantasy points here tonight. That's 4.9 times value. He's 8,800 FanDuel salary, and he's 300 less on DraftKings. So I like Tobias Harris here versus the Atlanta Hawks. Okay, another power forward that I like, and I probably prefer this play just to save a little bit of salary at this position. I like John Collins from the Atlanta Hawks playing the Philadelphia 76ers. John Collins has averaged 31.7 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 29 minutes per game with a 22% usage rate. He scored 24, 33, and 24 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 35, 28, and 30 minutes. So I like that he played 35 minutes last game. He's projected at 31 fantasy points here tonight. Now on FanDuel, that's only 4.8 times value because he's 6,500 FanDuel salary, but he's 600 less on DraftKings. So I like that DraftKings price. So I like John Collins here versus the Philadelphia 76ers. Okay, moving on to the center position. I like Clint Capella from the Atlanta Hawks playing the Philadelphia 76ers. Clint Capella has averaged 40 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 30 minutes per game with a 20% usage rate. he scored 41, 29, and 35 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 36, 28, and 33 minutes. He's projected at 40 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.1 times value. He's 7,900 FanDuel salary, and he's 200 less on DraftKings. So I like Clint Capella here versus the Philadelphia 76ers. Okay, now here's a sleeper pick or a value play. High risk, high reward play here. But take a look at Boban Marjanovic from the Dallas Mavericks playing the LA Clippers. Boban, he scored 23, 16, and 18 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 17, 20, and 14 minutes. He's a point per minute monster, so if he can get 20 minutes or more, he should be able to hit value no problem. He's projected at 20 fantasy points here tonight. That's 5.1 times value. He's only 3,900 FanDuel salary, and he's 200 less on DraftKings. So I like Boban Marjanovic here versus the LA Clippers. If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.